करो सर, ऐसा कर देना, मैं स्टार्ट कर दूंगा। Good morning, officers. Once again, I am back with new topic, new subject, and with full energy. I once again focus on to particular subject of the day. Our particular subject of the day is geography and ecology. Okay, so what are the topics today we are going to discuss? They are related with the geography and ecology. Okay, before that, everyone should be alert, everyone should be, Josh should be very high. This is a prerequisite for being as an aspirant or being as a citizen. We should have high Josh. Okay, so with this positive note, I am going to start today's topic. The today's first topic is this one: cyclone, this typhoon Raga. So the reason is this, and one more point, like many students get confused between the typhoon, hurricane, cyclone, tropical cyclone, extratropical cyclone. In very simple manner, without any going to technical details or something, I will explain you what is cyclone, then its impact, then what exactly the reasons for its cause, generation, cyclogenesis, then how exactly cyclone as a disaster we can manage. Even though heading is mentioned about typhoon Ragasa, but typhoon is nothing but type of tropical storm in East Asian region. Okay, so you have to remember cyclone, that to a tropical cyclone, have different names. That to East Asia typhoons, then African northern Atlantic Ocean it called a hurricane, then in Australia it called as Willy Willy, then if you go to Indian region, northern Indian Ocean region, we called cyclone. So we are going to discuss cyclone, and when I was studying a little bit about this topic, then I get to know that there are plenty of video on the high typhoon, extreme typhoon, what exactly high storm, low storm, depression. Don't go in technical details. Literally, don't go any technical details. Best option to study this topic is these dimensions. Okay, and UPSC had asked earlier question on this only. Coloring of the cyclone. I will mention what exactly you have to study in cyclone, and this topics is important for GS1 and GS3. Okay, in this also geography they will ask exactly the cyclogenesis. Cyclogenesis, genesis is a Greek word, it means that formation. Okay, they will ask the formation and distribution. Okay, this is only two things you have to remember about cyclone for GS1. Okay, now for the GS3 we have disaster and disaster management topic. Here cyclone is one of the disaster mentioned by NDMA Act 2005. Okay, so for this we have to study what exactly the disaster, its consequences and measures. So overall we have to study 5 dimensions in cyclone, and once you prepare this 5 dimensions, these dimensions will be helpful for your GS1 answer or GS3 answer. Okay, so now let's start with exactly cyclone. Okay, this 5 dimensions, you should note these 5 dimensions. I have mentioned the what are exactly 5 dimensions and their names, everything, particularly the what is consequences, then the measures, what are the policies taken. But apart from this, there is another dimension UPSC which had focused on the why there is more cyclone in Arabian Sea compared to the Bay of Bengal. This was the coloring of the cyclone and IMD divided by IMD, then global distribution of the cyclone, tropical cyclone to be specifical. Okay, so this is the additional dimensions apart from this first 5 dimension. These 3 dimension you have to study. Overall your cyclone topic, tropical cyclone topic will be covered in 8 dimensions. Okay, this 8 dimensions, once you prepare the notes, that will be beneficial for your GS1 and GS3. One more dimension you can see, this is mentioned in the, that is tropical cyclone, extra tropical cyclone. Don't go for technical details, tropical cyclone, extra tropical cyclone, but this 8 dimension. Earlier UPSC had asked the question on these dimensions. Let me show you the question itself. This is the coloring weather pattern IMD 2022 prelims mains question. Okay, in 2020 prelims UPSC asked what is cyclone. In 2021 UPSC asked sea surface temperature. Okay, and in 2022 once again in prelims UPSC asked high clouds, low clouds formed by cyclone. These high clouds, low clouds are means related with the cyclone. So each and every year there is direct or indirect one question on this cyclone and cyclone related topics. Even in 2023 UPSC asked one question on insolation. Insolation is responsible for your exact starting point of the cyclone is insolation. Insolation is nothing but the receiving of the solar energy on earth, tropical region. Okay, why this cyclone called as tropical cyclone? Because this occurs in this particular belt, 23.5 north south. This belt is called Tropic of Cancer between and Tropic of Capricorn. This is the equator. Okay, so in this belt those cyclone storms generally originated called as tropical cyclones. Okay, this will be your general definition. Don't go in technical details, what is gale force, what is this, what is, don't go in technical, make it simple. We have there will be the one question on disaster management and there will be the one question on the exactly the atmospheric phenomena in GS1. Okay, if they ask this year, they ask the question on tsunami, so similarly there will be the chances that they will ask the question, and they had asked the question on the cyclone. Okay, so basic details, don't go in technical details, what exactly the gale force, this and that, no, simple. Even don't read the what is extreme typhoon, what is typhoon, no, don't go in technical details, because unnecessary you are spending too much time on this. But you should remember the dimension data related cyclone. Okay, you will get the data on NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority official website. Okay, I will provide the PDF of this lecture below the link. Okay, but official data you will get from this website. What exactly? Then exactly the IMD also provide the geography related details, how cyclone forms and everything, and disaster management related details you will get on NDMA official website. It is just around 10 to 11 line information as well, and with example. You have to remember data and example in cyclone questions, even though if they asked in GS1 or GS3. Now let's begin. What exactly cyclone? I have started. What is tropical cyclone? The rapid storm system. Rapid storm system with low pressure. That means that they are the wind pattern, particularly wind pattern carrying the heavy moisture, and that is breaking to the particular the land masses and causing heavy rainfall. We generally tend to listen here to the All India Radio or PIB. There is heavy storm, low pressure belt is created in the Bay of Bengal, which will create the more rainfall, which will lead to the more rainfall in the coastal regions. Okay, so this is a cyclone is nothing but a low pressure belt carrying heavy moisture. Okay, why this carrying heavy moisture we will going to discuss in our next heading, that is the particularly how formation of the cyclone. This is different name which I have discussed the names of tropical cyclone. Cyclonic storm, Indian region, you can get the idea. Here Willy is there. Okay, they didn't mention. Okay, then hurricane, typhoon, hurricane, and the news is Ragasa is in this area. Okay, east, remember the ASEAN countries. Okay, if any rapid cyclonic storm is there in the ASEAN countries or ASEAN belt, then it is called as typhoon. Okay, it is called as typhoon. Now let me start. See, these are the conditions, but in simple manner I will explain how exactly the cyclone form, and that will be supported by particular condition. Because once UPSC asked the in 2022 prelims, cyclones, only some cyclones have eyes, and only some cyclone form in the temperate region, not in the tropical region. Cyclone can be, see, cyclone and tropical cyclone is different. Tropical cyclone suggests the origin of the cyclone, particular bandwidth from the Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn. This bandwidth called as tropics. Okay, in this, those cyclonic storm occurring called as cyclones, and those above the temperate region, above the 23.5 degrees Celsius latitude, called as extratropical cyclones. Okay, now see, as I mentioned the earlier, what exactly happened, what leads to the cyclone formation, and what are the conditions. Condition itself explain the cyclone formation stages. Listen, this tropical, particularly this range, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, in this belt the insolation is vertical. Okay, insolation, what does it mean? It means that if sun rays are directly attacking on this particular belt. That's why if you see in the tropical region, sun always overhead. It's move from the one direction to another direction, and this led to the heavy concentration of the energy. That is energy. Once the ocean water get energy, and if any person, even person, water, or any molecule, an atom in this universe get the energy, if atom is getting energy, it will get discharged and it will start the movement. Once it gets start the movement, same thing happen in the ocean water. Once it become warm, it will get the energy, and this energy leads to the certain instability. What is that instability? The first is hitting, then starting of the movement, and this movement automatically leads to the rise of rising temperature leads to the water molecules are rising because they got the energy. Now their moisture, their pressure, particularly their energy is high, and because of this energy they will unstabilize, and once they become unstable, they will rise in the above because their density is less compared to the cold water. Okay, this is water is getting warm, heated by insolation. Okay, and this insolation leading to providing the energy to the water molecule, and this water molecule will get energy, will rise as ascending year. And this ascending year, why I am calling? Because the moisture will rise, like evaporation will happen, and this evaporation will lead to the formation of particular band, that is called as cyclone. And this is just one process. Okay, and this process will be, this is just one, I am talking about the one molecule. Just think about the larger Indian Ocean, just think about the Atlantic Ocean, the area which will be around 120 km area they will occupy. Okay, so first, then once the particles started moving, see, you are sitting here, and if you have energy, you will rise up, and then your place will be occupied by another individual, another source. Similarly, one water molecule will rise. I will explain this with you, this figure. Let me show you this figure. Okay, this is the best figure to explain. Okay, here water molecule are getting energy and they are rising, and their place is replaced by cold water molecule. Okay, why they are getting replaced? Because their density is low. You once they get energy, you will get charge and you will rise above. This is the water molecule I am talking about. Then this energy automatically will occupy this space. Okay, and now this will form the gradual movement, circulating. The direction of circulation is different in the southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere, but this system is stable. Then comes the picture of Coriolis force. Okay, Coriolis force. What does Coriolis force do? What is Coriolis force? It is just a energy and force generated by the rotation of the earth. Okay, let me show you. This is low pressure belt, as I discussed, Coriolis force effect, and this force pushes the cyclonic system from the one place to the another, and it carries the cyclone, overall cyclonic system. This system moves. That's why IMD always predict that the cyclone reaches to the Orissa coast, cyclone reaches to the Tamil Nadu coast. This movement happened because of the Coriolis force. The particle movement happened because of the Coriolis force. Okay, and this Coriolis force get charged, and once again this movement will start. And it reach to the landmass. So you got the point. particle is getting heated by the insulation, and this insulation is providing the energy, and once particle gets the energy, it is generating the full energy, full force, and that full force at one place is moving around because of Coriolis force, and the system carries through from the moisture to the last stage, okay, from the ocean to the land, and until it reaches the land, the moisture supply will be cut by the land, and this led to the dissipation of the particular cyclone system. This is a simple phenomena. You have all the points here. See, this is the exactly I have mentioned here. Okay, so first is this one. Warm atmospheric instability. I said that particle once get the energy, automatically it will create the instability. Don't focus on these heavy words, just normal. Particle is getting energy, particle is getting discharge, particle showing the force, and that force in the energy generation is leading to the one system that is called the cyclonic system. Okay, so this means the low vertical strain. Why this? Because see, if the vertical pressure is low, the strain is low, then only it is horizontal will move. Okay, if the strain is low, there will be no cyclone generation. The movement will not happen, the particle movement will not happen from the ocean surface to the atmosphere. Okay, this way, that's why low vertical wind shear. Then now Coriolis force, as I explained, the Coriolis force pushes the particle and carries the system from one place to other place. Okay, the next one is the pre-existing disturbance. Disturbance is why particular individual or particular water molecule get disturbed. This is because of the getting energy. That energy is provided by the insulation. Then now this is the particular cyclonic formation system. There are three stages. First is the getting the moisture, then the exactly the carrying the system, and dissipation. Okay, and now this is the particular the thing. Then how destruction it causes, why the destruction causes to the particular coastal and particular areas. Now this is a one dimension, that is geography, mostly covered under geography. Now we are going to discuss what exactly the consequences of this particular cyclonic system. Okay, and as I have given here exactly the example: cyclone Freddy, cyclone Mawar, cyclone Mucha, cyclone Tutke, cyclone Amphan. Everywhere you can get the many examples, but just remember all these examples. Then now what exactly the consequences of the tropical cyclone system? The consequences of the tropical cyclones is, just think about the full energy particles, water molecules, they are carrying from the ocean to the land, and it is destructing the coastal. First target is the coastal zones. And if you see the heavy rainfall in the Kerala 2020, the heavy monsoon, heavy rainfall in the Chennai floods 2018, all this is caused by because of this cyclonic system. Okay, and annually around 2 to 4 cyclone hit India's coast. Okay, so you have to remember this. This is just one physical dimension, how exactly the generated cyclone is impacting particular coastal zones. The next, once it impact, what will it will cause? It will cause the destruction of the infrastructure. The infrastructure not only include the road, rail, and transport, it disturb the connection line, connectivity line, even the digital connectivity line. All that get disturbed by this because of the cyclone. This is your second consequence of the cyclone. The third will be on, just think about the people who are staying in the coastal areas. They will be get badly impacted, and that's why if you see the news, there are 2 people died, 3 people died, 4 people get injured. This is happening because of the cyclone. So the third will be automatically that trauma and the pressure. Means I would say particular the trauma, the people who are suffering the coastal areas, all this impacted because of the cyclone system. Okay, this is the river inland flooding, the agriculture loss, and the most crops. Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, fish farmers, all they get affected by the cyclone. So these are the consequences of the cyclone system, cyclone storm, tropical cyclone storm. Okay, infrastructure disruption, humanitarian crisis. Now these are the consequences. Then, and the recent years, according to the IMD, there is a high rise in intensity and as well as the frequency of the cyclone. If you see, there was less cyclone in Arabian Sea compared to the Bay of Bengal. But nowadays, what is happening, particularly in the last 2 decades, Arabian Sea is also getting more cyclones. If you see the 2022 Vadodara cyclone, Vadodara, Surat, western coast is fully affected by the cyclone. Okay, this is one of the reason climate change induced cyclones. Okay, now what exactly we can do to mitigate, to prevent, and post cyclone, post disaster prevention measures. So obviously now we are going to discuss what exactly the suggestions given by the committees, recommendations, and what exactly measures we can do on the ground. So I have divided this into the structural and non-structural. This classification is given by the NDMA. Okay, NDMA, there is a National Disaster Management Perspective Plan 2009 that was amended in 2019, and that plan has given lucid means measures how to contain the particular disaster, and in that cyclone is one of the disaster. Before that, let me show you how exactly India's coast is getting affected by cyclone. Okay, this is a very high, you will get the idea. Particularly, see, this is the around from the West Bengal to the Gujarat, Gujarat to Kerala, and Kerala to the Tamil Nadu. All these coast is getting affected by the cyclone. So this much vulnerability is there. We have to take action, and Government of India through the National Perspective Plan on the Disaster Management has taken action. Even the establishment of the NDMA, SDRF force, NDRF force, even the mitigation fund. Okay, all these are the measures taken by the Government of India at the domestic level. Domestic level, there are two kinds of measures: either the structural measures, which includes the embankment, which include the first one is embankment. An example, do mention the example Odisha cyclone shelters. If you see Odisha's 1990 crisis of the cyclone, that led to severe causes damage to the property, not only the physical property, then human loss. Then this led to the Odisha to prepare properly for the upcoming cyclone. That is, a prevention is better than cure. So Odisha did same thing. So Odisha particularly constructed the cyclone shelters, make a cyclone shelters, so it will be the easy for the people to get protected. At least human life will be get protected. The second one will be the embankment. The third one will be the, similarly we have called as a mangrove bioshield. Bioshield, Sundarban Delta. If you remember the Sundarban Delta, then you will get the idea what exactly the bioshield. And do mention this word, because this word makes sense that so this particularly mangrove act as a bioshield, because see, cyclone waves are coming, and here you have the particularly your sundari tree, means the mangroves, they are protecting, they are not letting the lands means not letting the attack directly get the attacked by the people, not get attacked by the cyclone storm. Okay, the third structural measure is the your particularly bioshield. The third one will be the, and in this also you can discuss the pre, post, during. Now we have taken preventive action. Despite this preventive action, cyclone hit the particular area, particular land. Then what during the preparation, during the exactly disaster, what we can do? We can do particularly the evacuation, we can do the support, we can do NDRF, agency coordination. That's why in 2025, UPSC asked the question, the disaster management is not a one agency work, but it is a whole of government approach discussed. This was the question of 2025. So if you see multi-agency involvement, I think this question not in 2005, but this is a PYQ. Okay, now let me show you during the disaster. Temporary barriers, creating the temporary barriers. So like sandbags and everything, sandbagging, the Kerala happened, the IMD, the communication emergency system should be there, evacuation of the people before the something happened, during the also, even the territorial army. If you see the role of the territorial army, coast guards, and the marine police, and the state police, and the state civil administration, they all work in tandem to just help during the cyclone or during the disaster. Okay, now the next one will be the this is during the particular structural measures during this disaster. Now post disaster, what government can do? First one is assessment. We should do the assessment to provide them financial support. This is the official phenomena, official process Government of India follows. That's why if you see this flooding in the Punjab, there is a central team visiting the Punjab and the Himachal Pradesh area. Okay, similarly if any disaster happened under the disaster management, this is the process. Pre-disaster certain provisions, during disaster certain provisions, and post-disaster measures, preventive measures. Then post-disaster, there, see, after cyclone, after disaster, people would support too much mental trauma. So providing them the mental support, providing them the evacuation support. This is one of the major during post-disaster. Now, these are the structural measures, and at the domestic level, what will be the non-structural measures? Interagency cooperation, awareness, then the spreading the cooperation, particularly the you can say the people citizen centric participation of the people, local volunteers. Ganga Mitra is the best example during the flood. Similarly, during the disaster like cyclone, we can maintain the particular Ganga Mitra like volunteers. Okay, this is, and taking the help of NGOs. This is also one of the non-structural measures. Now, early warning, and IMD have, even the Ministry of Earth Sciences have the cyclone early warning system. Okay, we have the setup. This is the setup in the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Okay, this is a special division for the Ministry of Earth Sciences, cyclone early warning system. Okay, this is the non-structural measures we are discussing. Then evacuation people, public advisory, real-time data monitoring, then the use of GT and land planning. Most important is land planning. Bhuvan, then the use of PM Swamitwa scheme. Tamil Nadu did this experience very well in their the land planning, construction of the houses. If you see, Japan is one of the developed country. We treat Japan as a development, despite Japan lies in the ring of specific fire. Okay, ring of fire. This ring of fire is like, and this ring of fire, 40% of tsunamis, 30% of the earthquake happens. Despite these disasters, Japan is one of the developed country, and India has adopted certain major, certain good practices from the Japan, how to manage, how to regulate the cyclone or disasters. Okay, cyclone is one of the disaster, but this framework you can use in your any cyclone, any particular disaster, because there is only one question on the disaster in either 10 marker or 15 marker. Okay, because in our GS3 they have mentioned the conservation, then the pollution, and the disaster and disaster management. Okay, one will be the basic static 2024 question, the what is the capacity resilience, what is the adaptation, what is the mitigation, and one will be the exact cyclone. So don't going into too much technical details. This is the basic framework. One question will come on the cyclone or any disaster. You can implement this full skeleton for the your any disaster. Okay, so these are the non-structural measures, and Tamil Nadu did the land planning, proper land planning, use of the digital technology, use of the real-time monitoring to get the idea exactly where exactly same idea has been implemented by Andhra Pradesh with the help of Singapore government. Recently, Amravati, the capital of Andhra Pradesh, has been developed by the with the help of Singapore, and the same technology, cyclone resilience technology, they are adopting. Okay, now this is the overall related with the our cyclone as a disaster. Even though there is named Typhoon Ragasa, but don't going into technical details. Typhoon is nothing but is a part of cyclone system, tropical cyclone system. Now UPSC had asked the question on color coding. Do visit the IMD's official website. There you will get the idea of this color coding, the classification of the cyclonic storms. Okay, because we see the Great Depression, extreme cyclone, heavy cyclone, like that. Okay, and why the Arabian Sea is getting more cyclones, intensified cyclone, than the Bay of Bengal. This is your overall cyclone is a disaster and tropical. Make comprehensive notes, and don't make notes GS1 separately for the geography and GS3 disaster management separately. No, one note, 2 pages, 250 words. Don't make too many words, or 3, 4, 5, 10 pages. 2.5. We have to write 250 words. That's it, and 150 words. That 250 words, light, at least make a 350. That's it. Beyond this, don't make, and do collect the example. You should have the data on the how many cyclones are exactly hitting India annually. You will get this data from the IMD. You will get the data from NDMA. So this is our overall particularly cyclone as a disaster, okay, and cyclone as a geographical phenomena. Then now recently I came across with the one news that is going to the particular not diplomatic, the policymakers arena, discussion about the even cyclone is there, disaster is there, and in which area we are getting more cyclones? Obviously the Bay of Bengal, okay. In this Bay of Bengal, what structure we have? Andaman and Nicobar Island. And to develop this island, we have one Andaman Greater Nicobar Developmental Project, and that development project has been in the news. So our next topic is regarding to ecological security with defense maritime security, the direct conflict between the national security and environment security. This is the perennial conflict between these two things. Either you are securing the national boundaries or the environment boundaries, okay. Now this is our next, balance in the maritime defense with the island ecology, the threat to Great Nicobar dilemma. This is has been the last 2 days. You will get this video particularly on this topic from the Sunset TV perspective, okay. Now this is in the why in the news. Now I will just show you the what exactly the, if you remember, in whole Andaman Nicobar island chains there are around 800 plus islands, okay. Out of that 145 lies in the Nicobar range, and in this only 31 are habited, okay, and 10 have their own population. The rest of this is either used by the defense, either used by the other purpose. But you should have this kind of data, because this data will help you to explain the particular concept. Out of 800 plus, exact number is something 820, okay, but 800 plus islands, in that 144 lies in the Nicobar chain. In this Nicobar chain only 31 is inhabited. In that also 10 islands have the population. Rest of this our military, you know, the Andaman Nicobar is a joint theater command, so our military is getting patrol. They used to patrol the remaining island and everything, and this becomes a critical point for the drug smugglers, for the particular the maritime Somali pirates to occupy that particularly. So with this objective, what government did? Government came up with one plan to protect our own territory. We are not expanding to any other country's sovereignty, but we want to protect our own territory, because only 10 islands are populated, and overall the population of this Greater Nicobar is not more than like 10,000 plus is there. 10 is this 1/10 of the Delhi, and the area of this Greater Nicobar is far more. So this area we can use for our overall economic, defense and overall development of India. We vision the developed India by 2047. So we have to use our resources in proper way, and the Greater Nicobar land is the best way to use our resources. So government of India in 2021 launched the Greater Nicobar project. What this project includes? Project is there, but there should be some infrastructure development, there should be some energy generation, there should be so there are exactly 4 components of this Greater Nicobar connectivity project. The first one is, let me show you, the first one is Greenfield Airport, okay. Then before that, this one, transition shipment Galthia Bay. I will explain what exactly the Galthia Bay is this and everything, but the capacity, meaning the particular transshipment port. Because if you see the location of this particular island, you will get to know that this area is at the global chain. If you see, this is our location of the Greater Nicobar, and this point Malacca Strait, if you remember, the 40% of global maritime trade passes through the Malacca Strait, and the Greater Nicobar lies at the mouth of the Malacca Strait. That much significance this Greater Nicobar project have. That's why government is focusing on to develop this particular project. There are concerns, but still the importance is this one. The global chain is the first importance. And if you see, we have the Act East policy, and through this Act East policy, we are the members of BIMSTEC, we are the members of ASEAN ADM++ dialogue, and that automatically increase our connectedness to the ASEAN countries. If you see, India have the FTA with ASEAN. UPSC had asked the question on India-ASEAN relationship in the IR, but do mention this point, the strategic location of this, and even UPSC can ask the question this in the GS3 also or GS2 also. That's why many of the students get confused why this particular question tend to be the GS3 question, but UPSC may ask this question in GS2 also, and they had asked the question on India-ASEAN relationship. Okay, so this is the one of the location. Now we are going to discuss the particular significance of this location. We have launched the particular, government of India has launched the particular, but there might be some objectives. What are these objectives? First is strategic location. I have discussed the particularly where exactly this Andaman Nicobar greater location lies, at the mouth and the heart of the Malacca Strait, which carries the 40%. And if you see China's rise, China's 60% trade passes through the Malacca Strait. To contain the China, this Greater Nicobar project is one of the ambitious projects launched by the government of India. The second one will be the even we are developing the multi-transshipment port. Automatically it create the employment. It provides the route for the trades. Okay, so second one will be in economic creating the job employment. There is a report Niti Aayog published in 2022 which says that around 40,000 jobs will be created post the completion, and during the completion there will be the construction work that automatically will help to give the employment to the semi-skilled worker. And once the project completed, there will be the settlement of employee, because only 10 islands are occupied. Rest of the our Indian population, we the people of India can settle, go there. This is the third importance of the economic, the social importance. Okay, and preservation of the our own defense, our own type means preservation of our own culture, preservation of our own biodiversity. This will happen through this project. How we are preserving? Because if you see the location and everything, we are maintaining the policy of Vasudev Kutumbakam and the mission life. In this way, we are preserving same approach we are government of India is implementing while constructing of this Greater Nicobar project. Okay, so these are the fourth significance of particular project. Now come to the, if you see, East Asia Summit happened and that led to the Chennai Vladivostok connectivity project. But that passes through the Malacca Strait, and who is at the mouth of Malacca Strait? This Greater Nicobar. So automatically it will increase the connectivity with ASEAN countries and Russia. Okay, so this Chennai Vladivostok connectivity project automatically will get boost because of this Greater Nicobar project. Okay, so this is the fourth. Then now exactly one of the component initially I mentioned, the energy generation. Okay, we have the Panch Pran, that is one of the Panch Pran is 50% from the non-fossil fuel, and in 2070 we have the ambition of net zero. And see the location of the Greater Nicobar, full solar energy, around 6 to 7 months it will get the solar energy insolation. This will help to generate renewable energy, and this renewable energy can fuel the particular development and other connectivity issue. Okay, energy generation, once energy is there, we have seen in the cyclone, if the water molecule get the energy, it will lead to the particular cyclone storm rainfall. Similarly, if any project get the energy, that too from the renewable energy, it will boost economic development and overall country's development, and this will help to achieve that our goal of Vikasit Bharat by 2047. Then now, despite these many advantages, despite these many issues, despite means look, everything is good like strategic location, economic significance, but can you see the where exactly it is means lies the location? This location becomes a boon once again and bani once again because the advantages are there. But if you see the 2004 tsunami, which is a best example how if we disturb the natural processes, create the issues. Okay, so now we are going to discuss what exactly the concerns raised by environmentalists and the policymakers regarding this Greater Nicobar project. The first one will be the your see this by, this is our people only, this is the Indian Navy, and they used to, and forest is huge, forest area is there, but still population is very little. The first is ecological concerns. Leatherback turtle is the best example which I remember. This is a critically endangered species, lies in the Indian Ocean region, Bay of Bengal specifically. In India, it is lies in the southern Nicobar, Greater Nicobar. Okay, so first one is threat to the biodiversity. It's obvious because in 2018 or 19 UPSC asked the question, all types of forest lies there, particularly the critical species lies in the Greater Nicobar area. Then this creates a threat to the indigenous bird species, indigenous unique species. And if you see, the Andaman and Nicobar comes under biodiversity hotspot of Indo-Malayan Peninsula. Okay, so this is the one of the threat to the biodiversity hotspot. This is a one ecological threat. The second will be the deforestation. Just imagine if you want around develop the 100, not 100 exactly, the 110 square kilometer area is there of the Greater Nicobar Island. In this, if you are developing the infrastructure, you have to cut the trees, and we have seen what exactly the consequences of deforestation in our Char Dham project, the flooding happening in the Himachal Pradesh, flooding happening in the Uttarakhand, the recent example. So this once again raises the issue of, third issue is disaster. And 2004-5 tsunami in across the Indian Ocean is the best example if we disturb the natural flow. This is a third concern, deforestation, biodiversity loss, and this leatherback issue. Leatherback turtle is a kind of one turtle, is lies found in the Galtia Bay. Okay, now this is a ecological issues. Now just think about who is staying there. Even though out of 31 islands, those who are inhabited, 10 islands have population, certain population, and the most important, according to the Indian 2011 census, there are 240 plus champion tribes are there. They are PVTGs. PVTGs, if you remember, government of India has the two kinds of tribe. One is a PVTG and another one is scheduled tribes. Okay, so PVTGs are within the STs. They have 75 tribes according to the Home Ministry. Okay, done. But even the population is 240, forget about the utilitarian approach. Think about the Kantian ethics. What Kant is, human rights. Even though it is violating the one fundamental right, one person's individual right, one person's dignity, we should not go ahead with action. Utilitarian says the opposite. This is a GS4, but you can use in your answers. So even the population is 240, it is threat for their existence. There will be the displacement of Champion tribe. Then another tribe which is the more population is there around 1000 is Zorwa tribe. Okay, the Zarwas are the resident inhabitant. What about their culture? Population displacement doesn't only include just the carrying the population. Particular individual carries their system, culture, particular political system, economic benefit, everything. Then think about, we have the integration in approach, particularly the particular regionalism. We are respecting composite culture. This is a direct violation of India's particular DPSP and India's directive principle and the fundamental duty of respecting the composite culture. When we are respecting the composite culture, even the government have mandated under Article 48 to respect, to protect the wildlife and the particular area. So this is the violation. This is one of the concern, not that exact violation, but one of the concern related with the composite culture. The third one will be the exactly, if the population is displaced, then who will remain? The security we want for the territory or we want for the people? The third will be the human right concern. Okay, because security, why we want to protect our land? Because we want ultimately to protect our people. But if people are not there, then who we are protecting? Are we protecting the land or just borders? This was the issue. So this is the fourth issue. The fifth one will be these tribes are more vulnerable for any modern health risk. Okay, if you see the Sentinel is 2018 or 19 issue, an American foreign tourist visited there and they killed that for tourists. So they are out from the modern area, modern technology. And if we develop the road, if we develop, then we pushing our modernity, we imposing our modernity on them, it will backfire. Okay, so these are the social economic concerns. Now the next concern is legal concerns. What are the legal concerns? We have the Environment Protection Act, and what Environment Protection Act says that the preservation of environment, where we are preserving the environment. Even the particular Greater Nicobar project area comes under the eco-sensitive zone. What are eco-sensitive zone? Eco-sensitive zone are nothing but the particular buffer area created to protect the environment, and this has not mentioned in the Environment Act 1986. Okay, so this is environment means first concern, legal concern. The next will be the, we have coastal regulation zone. Government of India is only preparing the regulation zone, and Government of India is violating the regulation. That means who guard the guardians? This is the second issue, because this area lies under the coastal regulation zone 4.8, and this makes it vulnerable. The third one will be the, as earlier as I said, the disaster related with the thing. And the fourth one is, particularly if you see, we have the volcanoes, coral reef, everything, and these are the overall concerns related to the Greater Nicobar Developmental Project. Okay, Greater Nicobar Developmental Project. Now tell me, should we stop this project right now? You just say, should we stop? No. We have the example of Bhakra Nangal, we have the example of Kundermuk, we have the example the Great Barrier Island Road Development of Australia, global and regional, which shows that we can balance the ecological security, ecological preservation with human security developmental needs. That means the sustainable development. Okay, how we can develop ecology and economy converge here, that leads to the sustainable development, and the sustainable development approach suggested by the Niti Aayog report 2021 are mentioned as below. Okay, first is, okay, what is important for us? Security is important, protecting the security. So focus on the security infrastructure. Don't expand in initial phase. Don't allow the common civilians. But we can develop the strategic location ports and for the military infrastructure, because we have integrated command center. Okay, and then we can develop the military infrastructure. The second one is the using the green technology, using the renewable technology, and using their own people. There are certain tribes there who are well civilized, who are modern, and they are adopting the new technology, they are adopting the new life, modern life. So we can use their own resources to provide them employment. They will not resist. What is happening in Arunachal Pradesh will not repeat in the Nicobar, Andaman Nicobar, Greater Nicobar specifically. In Arunachal Pradesh, what is happening? The Adi tribe opposing the Siang River project. This will not happen if we provide the employment to the local people, and if we provide the not employment, they are tribes, we can provide them food, shelter, everything. Even in their respective area, we have anthropologists who can go and visit there, who can talk to them. It is ultimately about trust, about the winning the hearts rather than the winning the mind. Winning the hearts and mind is very, very important, instead of the providing just a monetary support or something. Okay, so their displacement, even they willingly accept. The best example is our 2002 or 3, there was a neutrino project in Tamil Nadu. Our first citizen of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, visited to the particular district in the Tamil Nadu, and they pursued the people. So winning the heart and mind is important, and this we can do through adopting the eco-sensitive technologies. Okay, the next approach, as I said, the community center. Apart from this, we can get connected with the neighbor. See, the particular location of the southern Greater Nicobar project is close to the Sumatra Island. So have some connectivity, have some dialogue with the Indonesia. That will help, because the population connect is close and the population shares some similar trait. That will help to reduce the international pressure. Because China is thinking this only. That's why China is building the world's largest dam on the Brahmaputra river. China knows that India anytime can block the Malacca Strait. China don't want. That's why China developed its own China-Pakistan economic corridor through Gwadar port. China is aware, so we have good relations with Indonesia. So exploring the external ties, this thing, and the if we are cutting the trees, we can afforest it, we can plant it. The best is Forest Conservation Act 1980s suggested that the alternative forest mechanism, even Haryana have less than 30% the forest area, okay, but still Haryana is contributing the development, and this replacement of this afforestation efforts is doing in the different state. This can be done, okay, this can be done. Then apart from this, the legal compliance we can do, like setting up the committee. Already government has set up the committee to just overrule the committee, particular the implementation of the project. So we can set up the committee, and that committee will suggest the legal remedies. But coming together, working together, and winning the hearts and mind is important to overall development of the project, because this project is utmost important for India's overall development. It is not about the strategic defense security, it is about generating the employment, it is about winning the Malacca Strait and international pressure. It is means making the India's Mahasagar policy in reality. This project will starting will be with the defense, but this project is overall is a very comprehensive positive project. Government, with considering the all dimensions, should go ahead with this project. If they are, this is my perspective, might be your perspective will be different. And these are the examples where the environment have convergence with balancing the environment, the development. The best example is Australia Great Barrier Reef, okay. Then Galapagos Island, the Hawaiian Islands of the USA. The best example, we generally tend to thought that we will go to the for tree vegetable ecotourism. Ecotourism we can, and we can control the unnecessary expenses, unnecessary expansion of the territory. We can just focus on the defense, strategic, international relations, and we can limit the people. We can provide them the employment, local people, and we can win the hearts of the local people. Okay, so this is overall the dimension. Now, as I mentioned, this will be the your overall conclusion. You should conclude with the this is a first step of India's Mahasagar policy if they ask in the GS2, and if they ask in the GS3 how to balance the ecology and economy, then the sustainable approach for the Vikasit Bharat 2047. Okay, so this is overall our two articles of the day. Particularly, the first one was the tropical cyclone, the second one was the development balance, the economy and environment. But the last thing I want to discuss with you, you should daily, not the last, I would say, we have 241 days remaining, and we should focus on the how to prepare, plan your day, focus on implement that plan. If you need any planning, any mentorship regarding how to plan the remaining days and the remaining 13 weeks of this year, you can contact us at any time. We can contact during the official time or any time. We have the special programming that is called as Sankalp Sarthi programming, which is helping many students. You can check the testament of particular testimonials of the student who are already enrolled, and they are getting benefit of the Sankalp Sarthi mentorship programming. Okay, we have the mentors which having experience in the interview, mains, and the teaching experience. Okay, here we will provide you the particular the procedure, how to follow, what to study, how to study, when to study, and when we should start for the prelims and mains. There is no exact the difference between the prelims and mains, but we can follow the unified one study approach. Okay, by this note, I will end my today's discussion on the geography topics. Tomorrow once again I will come with a new topic with new energy and new zeal. Jai Hind.